let's go over the AP Lang and Composition exam. So let's start off with the exam duration and scoring. So you guys have 3 hours and 15 minutes to complete this. Multiple choice is scored by a machine. The free response essays are scored by college faculty and expert AP teachers. They're called chief readers, and the essays are given a score of 0 to 6. The multiple choice and free response scores are combined into a composite AP score of 1 to 5. So if you do extremely well, you get a 5. If you do pretty well, you get a 3, and if you just totally bomb it, you get a 1. But I just wanted to go over some of the changes. So the 2019 exam was a lot different. So if you have siblings and they took the AP exam for this, it's going to look a lot different to you guys than it did to your peers who have taken it before. So the multiple choice is only 45 questions. You get about an hour for it, and it is 45% of the exam score. So these questions are presented in 5 sets, and they have shorter passages to go along with them. So you read the passages, you answer the questions. There's 23 to 25 reading questions, and then 20 to 22 writing questions. Then the writing questions are really similar to like peer editing. They're similar to SAT writing questions. So if you guys have been preparing for that, that's one way that you guys can prepare for those multiple choice. And we're going to do some practice with that as well. So then the second section is the free response question. So this is where you are going to be writing your essays. So there's 3. You get 2 hours and 15 minutes for this, and it does include a 15-minute reading period. So this is 55% of your exam score. You have 1 synthesis question, 1 rhetorical analysis question, and 1 argument question. The free response questions will now be scored using analytic rubrics, which is actually much better for you guys instead of holistic, which were much harder. So in the past, it's been holistic, so it looks at everything, whereas the analytic just kind of breaks things down and allows you to score points easier. So let's just break it down a little bit. So down here, you can fill in this in your own worksheet here for your own notes. So the multiple choice. So 45% of your total score is multiple choice accuracy with reading nonfiction text. So the AP language and composition is all nonfiction. So we've been reading a lot of nonfiction, and that's for a reason, because that is what you are going to be focusing on. So if you get 58% accuracy on the multiple choice, you will get a 3 on the exam. Now, this does tell you, though, that the multiple choice is very difficult. It's not easy. So if you get 58% and you really practice that, you will get a 3 on this exam. So my advice to you is to start with the easiest passages, because it's best to run out of time on the hardest ones. If you know that you can get those questions correct on those easier passages, you're definitely going to get those points. Whereas if you start with the hard ones and you're just racking your brain, you're just wasting time, you're not going to even get to those easier passages. So then you do get a break after the multiple choice section. So this is an hour. Then you move into your free response questions. So FRQs are what we're going to call them. So you get 2 hours and 15 minutes for that. These 3 essays are 55% of your total score. So like I said before, you have a synthesis, you have a rhetorical analysis, and you have an argument essay. I'm going to really drill this into your brains. Writing style matters on the essays. So if you want that style point, which I will go over in the future, you have to think of how you're going to write your essays. How are you going to vary your sentences? How are you going to use strong word choices? That's why we're doing these weekly sentence patterns and vocab, so that way you can be exposed to these different ways of writing sentences, and you can include them on these essays, because that will help you whenever you start to write these, and you can maybe get that style point. Okay, so let's dive a little bit more into these different essays. So the synthesis is the most like a DBQ. So if you took Push last year, you probably understand what I'm saying whenever I say DBQ. If you don't know what I'm saying, don't worry about it. I'm going to go over it. So this should take you around 55 minutes. That's the suggested time. So 15 minutes for reading the sources and then 40 minutes for writing. So you're going to get 6 to 7 texts about a topic. Usually you get a visual one and then a quantitative source. So you have like kind of a variety of what you can choose from. And then you compose an argument that combines and cites at least 3 of those sources. So the difference between a DBQ and this essay is that you only need to use 3 of these sources. You do not need to use all of your sources. So the nice part about this is that if you have no idea what this topic is, they're providing you information. So you're going to want to use the sources that you understand the most and apply them to your essay. We all know how to cite sources, so this is the highest scoring essay. As long as you use those sources and you are able to back up your information, you're going to do very well on this essay. So they are giving you the info, basically. The second is the rhetorical analysis. So this is what we've been talking about since the beginning of the school year. So this one is a suggested time of 40 minutes. So you'll read a nonfiction text, usually a speech, a nonfiction passage, something like that, and analyze how the writer's language choices contribute to the intended meaning and purpose of the text. So we've been doing this since the beginning of the year. We've been doing this with soaps. We've been doing it with the Blackfish. We've been doing all sorts of things with this. So remember, what I've been trying to drive home to you is that you have to discuss what does the writer do and how do they do it, basically. So whenever you read that text, you have to think to yourself, okay, they're trying to make me think a certain way. What do they do to make me think that way, and how do they do it? So are they using hippophora? Are they using polysyndeton? Are they using diction? How are those writing choices influencing their writing and influencing you to think a certain way? So think of those choices. We have all of those terms. Make sure that you become very familiar with them, and make sure that you are just really focusing on those 2 questions. What does the writer do, and how do they do it? We started with this because it is the lowest scoring essay. So I feel like it makes the most sense to start off with the lowest so that we have the most time to spend on it and we can get through it and practice it all year long. So that's why this is really important. And we're going to be practicing this a ton, so you should become an expert at it by the end of the unit. Which brings us into our third essay. So that's the argument construction. So this one is also suggested about 40 minutes. And basically, you will create an evidence-based argument that responds to a given topic. But no sources are provided. You use your world knowledge and experience as evidence. So you're given this topic, basically, and you are able to apply anything that you know from like the real world and write about it. This is a middle scoring essay because some people just really clam up and stuff, and they're not sure what they want to write about, and they don't have like those sources where they can pull from. So you do definitely have to have a strong topic and strong evidence from your own point of view. But I don't think you guys will have any problem with that. So yeah, we will visit multiple choice throughout the year with a variety of strategies, but we are going to continue on with a rhetorical analysis. So we are going to learn how to deconstruct prompts next, and then basically how we can score the highest on this rhetorical analysis. We're going to look at student samples, and then I'm going to teach you the format that you should be using for a rhetorical analysis, and then we will dive into doing our own timed writings. So if you have any other questions, please let me know, but that's what the AP exam is going to look like.